Hey, this is Matt. Once again, welcome back to the video. This is another paid request. It's time for Edward. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate it, Edward. And for those interested in requesting pretty much any type of videos, tier lists, reviews, reactions, commentaries, re-reviews, topics, randomness, what have you, feel free to send it either directly to my PayPal or my Patreon. Both of the links are down below in the info box down below. So Edward wanted me to talk about South Park Season 14, Episodes 11 and 12, which is part of a story arc where Cartman is once again the raccoon superhero, but this time he has a team. Mysterion, who is Kenny, Toolshed, who is Stan. I know Kyle is one of them. You also have Mosquito Man, Barry Crunch, among others. Pretty much they want to be a superhero team. They try to help these people out of a fire, but this guy named Captain Hindsight, which all he does is come down and tell you the obvious, then leaves. And Cartman's mad about him taking the glory, but the other kids is like, who cares? Butters is in a holding cell, and they won't let him out. There happens to be an oil spill, and the CEO of the BP Oil just does this video where he just says, I'm sorry, and all these different locations, I'm sorry. That's all he does, repeat it. The kids don't want Cartman as their leader. I would say the best bit in episode 11 is the Clockwork Orange gag, where it has the same music and the same type of slow motion. They're both going up, going towards camera, and Cartman hits one of the kids and kicks him and claws his face. The way it's done with the music and the slow motion and the claws really getting in deep in the faces, pretty effective, like oh shit type of scene. Ultimately, Cartman gets kicked out. While this oil spill is going rampant, BP Oil's fucked it up more. The other kids decide, let's do a lemon bar sale, get some money to help out in our local community. While Cartman's like, I want to get some revenge. I do like some of the animation bits in this, where because of the way he's painted up around his eyes, when he squints, it actually does look like a raccoon. I thought that was a nice bit of art style to do that. And like this in this episode, I don't really talk much about the art because it's South Park. But there's some nice bits here. Even the episode 12, there's comic book panels showing Kenny's character Mysterion and even Cartman when he's with Cthulhu. There's an episode 12. By the end of episode 12, by the end of episode 11 leading into episode 12, BP always been screwed up that they opened another dimension, so these monsters are through, and then they try to get oil from the moon, and Cthulhu showed up, so now Cthulhu's destroying stuff. Which leads to episode 12, where Cartman gets with Cthulhu, and they become best buds. There's even a song that happens where, I forget the lady singing it, but it's not the never-ending story, but it's that kind of uplifting type of song as Cthulhu's destroying and killing people, and Cartman's his buddy and all that. Other than the Clockwork Orange gag, I would say of episode 11, the only thing I really cared about, and seeing Butters, because I'm a fan of Butters, really like that character. The only other thing I was interested in, because the Captain Hindsight, okay, I get the joke that he doesn't really have any superpowers, he just says the obvious. It was kind of funny for about 10 seconds, but then it's like, okay, joke kind of got old really quick for me. The whole thing with Cthulhu monster, I mean, it's like any other monster. I mean, might as well be the damn Barbra Streisand monster that came back a few episodes ago. But the stuff that was interesting was the stuff with Kenny. Because this is probably the most character development you got out of Tenny in like 14 years. Is that it was showcased in an episode before the Mysterion. There was Tenny, and he tells Captain Hindsight his power, which is he can't die. And you get more of this in episode 12, where Captain Hindsight's drunk, and he's trying to talk to the kids, and Mysterion's like, pull the trigger, motherfucker, and the other kid's like, Kenny, Jesus, dude, go. Because he tells Captain Hindsight his power is he can't die. So it's kind of interesting that they actually explain within the universe why Kenny couldn't die. Like, they actually, instead of just keeping that as a gag and never reference it again, they actually do incorporate into the story. I actually found that kind of interesting that they went in that direction. I find that kind of refreshing to keep that weird bit of continuity in it. Because he says, sometimes I see heavens, like the end of South Park the movie. Sometimes he sees other stuff, and he'll wake up in his bed next day, and no one will remember. I'm like, okay, that's actually pretty interesting. Like, what would happen if you could not die, but even if you die, people won't remember it, and they'll just think it's a new day, and like literally there's a bit where these cults of Cthulhu attack Mysterion, the other kids try to help, Kenny, aka Mysterion, gets stabbed. Oh my god, they killed Kenny, you bastards. And then Kenny wakes up in his regular outfit, and the kids go by, where were you last night? You just left us. And then Kenny goes, Like, that was interesting. Like, that made it, wow, this, you just made the Kenny character in one episode that much more interesting to me. And I thought that was the most interesting part. Now, it does leave on a little cliffhanger, so I'm guessing there's another part after this and wrapping this up. I mean, the whole Cthulhu thing, it was kind of funny. Cartman trying to talk with him and bonding with it. Those bits were kind of humorous, I will admit. Resulting in that song of them being buds. The other kids being superheroes, or I should say they're costume heroes. Kind of, cute and quirky. I kind of wish they would let Butters out and just let him enjoy the game. I'll be good for this time. I think that would be nice to have it showcased. Chris Cartman being more of a bastard. Which makes sense. I mean, this is the same character that killed a kid's parents and fed it to him because the kid picked on him a few times. Between the two episodes, they were just... It was okay, but it wasn't stuff I loved. Like I said, there were some repeated gags. Like, I get the idea of the CEO where they do... You see this from time to time on TV or stuff where they did these interviews, but you tell they're just not as sincere as you like them to be. Their sincerity is about as real as a $3 bill. So that's why they just have it. The CEO in different locations, a grocery store, or lying naked somewhere. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But they repeat that gag throughout the two episodes like 3 times. And it's like, we only needed it once. We didn't need it like 3 times. If it wasn't 3, it felt like 3 times. So, that stuff was not as interesting or intriguing. Like I said, the whole monster stuff, it's like whatever. It's kind of same shit, different day for South Park. The whole Cthulhu things felt like, okay, we gotta throw something in there because we have to have a giant monster thing to fuck up the world. like I said, what was positive about it for me was the comic book panels, especially in episode 12, gave it a different look and vibe. Mysterion narrating at the beginning of episode 12, and Mysterion Rises. So, this is when The Dark Knight Rises came out. Anything dealing with Tinny Mysterion was interesting. I wish even more of the focus was on him. I wish it would culminate into Mysterion fighting Cartman. I think that'd be cool. Mysterion fighting Cartman and kicking Cartman's ass. I mean, there was a little about that before when we last saw Mysterion, but that was more about Mysterion and Butters. But I wish there was a bit more of Mysterion and Cartman as good guy, bad guy, and just and Kenny being the shower Cartman. I think that'd be a nice, refreshing thing to see and witness. So I would say episode 12 I like more than episode 11. Like episode 11 was just setup. The Clockwork Orange Dad is the one scene that really shined in episode 11. The rest of it was, okay. Carbon's tipped out. He's pissed. BP Oil is getting shit. They fuck up. Monsters arise. Whatever. I was just either been there, done that, or just wasn't as funny and repeated gags as other people felt they were. Episode 12, like I said, the bits with Kenny Mysterion, definitely much more interesting. They did a bit more development on that character. And then they give an actual full answer as to why Kenny is going through that. I think that'd be even more interesting to dive into it, but at the same time, it's still South Park. It's not Breaking Bad or something. It's South Park. And I felt bad for Kenny at the end. He got stabbed, he died, no one remembers, and that sort of sigh. Did feel bad for the kid. Feel bad for the guy, so. At the very least, it accomplished that, which I appreciate. But that'd be cool, like Mysterio and Butters team up, or something like that. That'd be nice to see. Mysterio, because again, Butters is like my favorite character. Kenny, I'm more intrigued by because of this development. It'd be nice to see them team up and get the shower Cartman. That'd be nice. Probably won't happen though, but at least there was some definite interest and intrigue that makes me wonder what's going to happen next. So that's not a bad thing at all. Like I said, the BP oil, the repeated gags of that, maybe it was kind of funny the first time. The Captain Hindsight, I can honestly do without, because I really didn't find him that funny of a character. Or that funny of a joke. Like, it's kind of maybe humorous, like I said, for 10 seconds, but then it's like, okay, whatever. But overall, not too bad. Like I said, it's not awful episodes. Let's say the Kenny Mysterion, say for the 85th time, am I repeating this? Definitely the most interesting part of it. So thanks once again, Edward, and we'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.